Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Collection Monday, so Monday View, where we're going to take a look at the pencils that were chosen for for this week's videos. The pencils that were chosen were the Sargent Art colored pencils. They are a smaller barrel, a fairly budget-friendly pencil, and they are quite smooth. I do believe that they are an oil-based pencil. Um, and they do color very, very nicely. We have started on our gnome fellow with the Sargent Art pencils, and as you can see, they are doing quite nicely both with the hat, the different color combinations and blending and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is I did create a new swatch chart for it. So this is the swatch chart that will be posted below the video. And I will be going through and re-swatching these on the new swatch chart. But for today's purposes, we will be using the old swatch chart. Ignore the crosses through. It was just me putting everything in the new swatch chart. So we have our white into our yellows, into our peach tones, into our oranges, into our red oranges and our reds, and then into our pinks and our purples, into our blues, the blue greens, into our greens, and then into our browns, our grays, and our black, and as well as two metallics of gold and silver. Pink shouldn't be there, and that's why we're redoing this swatch chart. And in the new swatch chart, the pink is not going to be there. So we are going to switch you on over to the close-up camera, and we are going to do some testing. So we are going to do our water test, our smudge test, our blend tests, as well as our rainbow test. So we're going to check and make sure that everything works together and will create what we want it to create. So I'm going to grab yellow as well as red, because we do have yellow and red. That's cherry red, red orange. Let's see if I can find red. Do I have red out? Ah, I do. I have red out. So we've got yellow, red, and blue. So there are our yellow, red, and blue. So with the Sargent Art pencils, they are not numbered. However, they are all named. Now, if you want to put numbers on them, I suggest putting a little dot on the back of the pen, the back of the pencil, and putting your numbers there so that when you do get down to the bottom part of the pencil where it's past the words, you'll still have a way of seeing what color is what. All right, so we're going to test for water first, and I'm going to grab a water brush. I have rearranged things on my desk, so I just got to find one that has water in it. And this one does. So we'll be using this water brush, which has water in it. So we're going to start with our yellow. And again, I'm going to color the same way that I do when I'm coloring on the pages. So I'm going to put down as much color as I would on a regular page. And we're going to build that color up a little bit. Now, the paper that this swatch chart is on is a thicker paper and it's kind of smooth. So it is a little bit different than my normal swatching paper. I must have run out of my normal swatching paper when I did this swatch. So it will be a little bit smoother than if you were using the 67-pound Nina, which is normally what I swatch on, just because it's a great base level of what I normally use. I don't know what cardstock this is. I don't remember. It's been a while since I swatched them. So there's the red, the yellow, and now I'm going to put in the blue. And how was everybody's weekend? Hopefully you've all had a great weekend. Of course, after we do the testing here, we will do a page in Art Matters because your imagination can change the world. And Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddell were kind enough to produce a wonderful little book full of fantastic pictures that just scream to be colored. It's not supposed to be colored, but whatever. All right, so I'm going to take the water brush and we're just going to rub it against it and see if that color moves. So I don't see any movement in the yellow. I move the red, and there is movement in the red. So this tells me that you do need to use something to seal it down before you start adding wet mediums such as stickles, liquid pearls, gel pens, any sort of glitter, stuff like that. I would definitely seal that first. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to do a smudge test. So we're going to put down a good heavy layer, the same as I would on any picture. The reason why I do a smudge test is, as you can see, when I'm coloring, my hand is on the page at all times. So when I'm going back and forth, if I've already colored the area that's over here underneath my hand, the oils in my hand will be in contact with that pigment and could move it and has moved it. I have ruined a good page because I moved deep colors into light colors and could not fix it. So you have to be careful. If you have a pencil that does move when you rub it, such as the Prismacolors, many different colored pencils do move if you're not careful and you rub your hand across it a whole bunch. Just like with moving it with water, you can protect it and seal it in with a blender pencil. Usually the Caran d'Ache works great for that. All right. And you will see me lightly putting the Caran d'Ache down even though I don't want it to be burnished. I do want to have a little bit of a seal on it so that if I do decide to come back with more color, I can do that without having it move around. All right, so there we have our color down. I'm just going to dust it off, make sure that there's not any excess pigment there that my fingers are going to pick up. And we're just going to rub. The yellow moves, the red moves, and the blue moves. So definitely would suggest that you use a sealer on them. Okay, so now we're going to grab 3 pinks because I like doing this with pink because, yeah, I just like doing it with pink. So we're going to start with pink and we're going to do a gradient blend test. So I'm going to do a gradient circle, putting down the darkest pink first. And I'm just going to fill that in, getting that as dark as possible. Of course, putting out a tail for the next color to blend into. And like I said, this paper is not my normal swatching paper, so it's not going to take as many layers as like the Nina cardstock would. And that's one of the reasons why I use the Nina, is because it does have a good tooth to it. And with oil-based pencils, you definitely want to have a good tooth to work with. All right, so I'm going to just bring that out so that the next color has something to grab hold of and to blend into. And then we're going to go with the carnation. And we're going to bring that out as well. And I'm going right over top of the blend line. And then we're just bringing that carnation out into the center area. And blending those colors together. And then we're going to use pale pink. And I think pale pink is darker than the carnation, but that's okay. Should have done it the other way around. But as you can see, they do combine quite nicely to give us that movement of color. And like I said, the pale pink should have been before the other one. I was just looking at the colors on the ends there. All right, now we're going to do a rainbow. And we're going to do, like I said, it does blend together very nicely. You can see a little bit of the transitions because I did use the wrong colors, but there is a bit of a transition there. So now we're going to do the same thing with the rainbow. So we're going to do a quarter of it with the red. I'm going to sharpen this. Give it a bit of a sharpen. So I'm going to do a really deep red on the edge here. And then we're just going to lighten the touch as we come out, like so. Now we're going to do the same thing with the yellow. Oh, maybe. The yellow did not want to sharpen. Give it a bit of a sharpen. Now we're going to start on the other side. We're not going to touch the red yet. We're going to put the where we want the yellow in first before we touch the red. The reason for this is because when we touch the red, the yellow will pick up some of that red and start moving it into the yellow. And we don't want to corrupt the entire yellow area. All right, so now we're going to take the red and we're just going to combine those. Like so. Sometimes with different pencils, to get that rainbow effect, you do have to build the rainbow color with alternating the light and dark color to get that orange instead of just yellow. And as you can see, it does create that orange. Now I'm just going to fill in the back part of the red here so it looks like it's red, not pink, because I had a light hand on it. Now we're going to do the same thing with the blue. And we're going to go this way with the blue. Again, bringing that color into the yellow to create that green. It made a really nice sunset with some land and some water. If we turn it the other way. So I'm just going to come in up here with that blue. And then we're going to go over it again with the yellow. The more yellow you add, the lighter the green is going to become. So if you want it to be a dark green, don't add so much yellow. If you want it to be a light green, add more yellow. And I'm just going to blend all of that together. Like so. And then we're going to fill this in for the blue. Because, you know, white spot. And transition those colors together like that. So we definitely have a red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So it does do the rainbow quite nicely. Now we are going to take our, let's take red. And we're going to cover this area, and we're going to use a blender to blend that in. Now with the Caran d'Ache blender, you do have to have enough pigment on the page for it to blend properly. And while I was using these the other night, because I did color something yesterday with it, I did notice that the alcohol marker blender blends these very, very nicely. But I want to see if you can blend using the blender itself. I'm going to add some yellow here so that we have one side red, one side orange. Or red orange, I should say, because the red is going to be dominant. All right, and then we're going to take our Caran d'Ache blender and we're going to blend that together and eliminate any white spot. And it definitely does that. So it definitely works well with the blender. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to blend with white. So when you blend with white, and I do pre-warn this every single time, if your white is very opaque, it will dampen the color, so it will lighten the color quite a bit. If your white isn't extremely opaque, it will probably just blend it without any issues. So as you can see, there's a lot of open space in there. So I'm going to take the white and I'm going to go over the whole thing. And we're going to blend it all. And as you can see, there's a lot of dust. So see that smudge? That's why you use the blender to put a little bit of a blend on it, or a little bit of a coating on it, so it doesn't move like that. So definitely failed the water test, definitely failed the smudge test. They did blend together quite nicely, as well as with the blender and the white. So you do have that ability to move the pigment around and get it to blend properly without any major issues. Now we're going to put these back in here, and we're going to grab our Art Matters book here, and we're going to read the Art Matters for today. Oh, it's a long one today. All right, so it says, because normally there are things you have to do before you can get to the place you want to be. I wanted to write comics and novels and stories and films, so I became a journalist because journalists are allowed to ask questions and to simply go and find out how the world works. And besides, to do those things I needed to write, and to write well. And I was being paid to learn how to write. Economically, crisply, sometimes under adverse conditions, and on time. So basically, he had to learn as he was going and was able to gain all the skills that he required to do what he wanted to do, doing something that he loved to do, just not exactly what he wanted to do. All right, so I'm going to find my clip here, hopefully. I don't know where my clippy went. The children have run off with my clip. Oh well, we'll just have to use our hand. I'm going to hold this open with my hand and hopefully don't get in the way too much. And we're going to start with this one here. And we're going to do his jacket here with some gray. So this is just straight gray. So I'm just doing the shadow areas. And of course, down beside his pen protector and his pocket. The illustrations in this book have been illustrated. The book has been illustrated by Chris Riddell. The writing in this book is done by Neil Gaiman. And Chris Riddell did another book that you may remember me coloring in, which was called 100 Hugs. And in 2021, I did color 100 Days of Hugs from that book. And somebody sent me this one and challenged me to color it. So that's why we're doing that. That, and it's just such a fun book to color. So we've got the gray down. Now I'm going to take a bit of green gray. And we're going to fill in his jacket. Try to make sure I'm only filling in his jacket, not his shirt or his hand. And then we're going to take the white. We're going to do a shirt. We're going to take this gray, which is dark gray. And we're just going to go in here and do some shadows. for his shirt. And the shadows for his handkerchief there as well. And then we're going to take our white, fill that in. Like so. Now we're going to do his skin. We're going to start with melon in the shadowy areas. And then we're going to go in with peach. Like so. Alright, and then we're going to take our black and we're going to do the typewriter because goodness. And then we're going to take our dark gray. I think it's this one. No, that's just gray. And we're just going to fill that in. And then for our parchment, we're going to take our tan. Where did I put the tan? Is this it? Like, actually, a little bit of yellow orange won't hurt. As well as all these parchments here. Book there. These parchments behind him here as well. And then we're going to take the tan if I can find it. Would rather use the tan. There it is. A little bit on the edges there. Put a little bit of light on the subject, literally. Now, I'm assuming that that is silver there. And here. And black in the middle here. I'm assuming these are cups of coffee. So we're going to take a little bit of dark brown. Same for the basket back there with all the throwaway bits of paper. we're going to go back here and we're going to do what resembles bookshelves, or I'm not sure what back there. Posters on the wall maybe. These look like papers here. And then of course we have our light bulb here. So all this is going to be lit up from the light bulb. And we need our white. There it is. Like so. And then we're just going to fill in the walls. Put some yellow on his back area here, as well as his hair, because we know his hair is red. We're going to start off with the yellow first. Then we're going to put some green here for his visor, as well as some red here. Then we're going to grab our orange. So this is just straight orange. And then we're going to use straight up yellow. And then we're going to use red. Like so. And then we've got a little bit of paper over here to do as well. Put a shadow on it. And do the shadow for the typewriter here. And the book here. These papers here and here. And for his arm here. And then we're going to take yellow orange. And we're just going to fill it all in. Very loosely fill that in. And if you find that you have some areas that need a little bit more of that shadow, you can definitely put it in there. And just go over it again. Like so. And there we have our writer writing for newspapers. Again, the Art Matter page for today says, because normally there are things you have to do before you can get to the place you want to be. I wanted to write comics and novels and stories and films. So I became a journalist because journalists are allowed to ask questions and to simply go and find out how the world works. And because to do those things, I needed to write and to write well. And I was being paid to learn how to write economically, crisply, sometimes under adverse conditions, and on time. So he learned many, many different life skills as well as job skills and writing skills as he worked in the newspaper industry. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, again, the pencils of the week are the Sargent Art colored pencils. It's a 72 colored pencil set. They are named, however, they are not numbered. And of course, I will post my color chart below the video as soon as I have it all finished up. They are on Amazon, and I will post that Amazon link as well. And I don't believe they were overly expensive. Hold on a sec. I will take a quick look for you just to make sure. Like I said, I bought them quite a while ago. Sargent Art colored pencils. There we go. So the Sargent Art colored pencils in the 72 set seem to be difficult to find. Sargent Art 72. Oh, do they have a 120 set? So it's approximately $22.38, and currently they're on sale. I missed that. So they're currently 33% off. So it comes to $22.38 for the set, which works out to be 31 cents a pencil, which is really, really good. Let's see if they have a bigger set. Don't think they do, but oh, they do have a 120 set now. Interesting. And it is much cheaper than the 72 set. Oh, okay, I see why. Okay. So it is the 72s, but it is actually it's 56 colors, but there's multiples of each color. Okay, so that makes sense. Didn't think they had a beyond a 72 set. But I could be wrong. It does happen quite often. So, they do have a 120 pack. However, that is the 52 count multiplied, so multiples of each color. The 72 Supreme are what I have here, and they are very nice. I have heard that the other ones are not all that nice, but the Sargent Art Supreme series is quite nice. And I did purchase them in 2021 on the 5th of February. Interesting. So I will be posting the swatch chart, like I said, below the video. I will also leave a link to the pencils on Amazon. And again, they're $22.38, which works out to 31 cents a pencil. And of course, you can you also have to add in the sales tax. All right, so of course that will be an affiliate link, and I do get a couple of pennies for anytime that you purchase anything from Amazon with my affiliate links. So I'm just going to give you a quick view of the page that we colored today on the main camera here. And next week we will color this one. All right, guys, with that, thank you all so much for watching. Of course, remember to always like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artists that you enjoy. And always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.